AECI Plant Health, unlocking nature's potential.
In our next discussion with AECI Plant Health, we focus on changes and challenges in the agricultural sector. With me is Dr. Lawrence van Rensburg. Lawrence, we constantly hear that agriculture is an industry that's going through changes and challenges. What is the driver for these changes?
Yeah, I think agriculture is in transition around the world. It's not a local issue, it's something globally. And because agriculture is such a resource-intensive industry, we are subject to all the constraints of a limited resource pool in this around the world. So when you think about global populations growing from 7 billion to 9 billion by 2050, estimates are that global food production has to more than double. So how do you find more land? We're already farming on all of the arable land that we currently have. So land is a restriction. We have a look at current practices. We already have degradation of our soils. So farmers have already extracted all the nutrients out there. Very often the soil structures have been impacted negatively. And so, the soils aren't able to sustain those crops. So we need to make some changes there. Agriculture is totally reliant on weather and water. So again, when you think about it, that agriculture probably accounts for more than 70% of potable or fresh water usage. Where does that extra water come from to be able to grow that additional crop? And then I think also, issues such as the environmental contamination that comes with agriculture. You have runoff, you have erosion, you have leachate from all your herbicides and pesticides into our groundwaters and so on. And I think maybe the cherry on the top is the unpredictability of climate change. So as a grower, how do you actually make yourself robust, and how do you create a buffer against those kind of environmental challenges and variability? And so, so the grower is faced with a huge number of challenges. And, he may be focused in a local area, but he's actually competing in a global market as well. So your input costs are not, or your selling price is not really determined by your own local input costs. It's determined by what's happening in the Ukraine or in the US or Brazil or somewhere else, So it makes the farmer's job really difficult. He's competing in a global stage. He's under massive pressure to change his agricultural systems, to create this sponge or this buffer to absorb some of these changes or challenges in the environment.
So what is AECI Plant Health doing to address these challenges and changes, and have you got solutions to offer?
Well, we certainly hope so. We certainly hope so. And I think, we're very fortunate. We have a massive footprint of crop advisors around the country. And so the beauty of it is these crop advisors are on the farm every day with the growers. So they are looking at the problems. They're trying to address and assist the growers, meeting some of these challenges. As AECI, our job is to ensure that these crop advisors are suitably trained, that they have products, that they have services, that they have crop programs, and where possible we can introduce new technology and things that make it simple to make this transition. Because I think agriculture really has been in confrontation with the environment. And we are saying that it's really important that if we want to have sustainable agriculture, we have to start working with the environment. And that's a massive mind change for the grower, for the crop advisor, and those changes don't come without risk. There's massive risk to change because agriculture, as you know, you're dealing with hundreds of variables at any one time. And so, if you start changing one thing, what impact does it have down that whole supply chain or that production chain? I think it's really important that we do it in a responsible way, that we don't increase the risk of the grower, and that we don't increase the financial risk of the grower as well. So what we've developed is a program called the New Way, where we're looking at working with the grower. We want to make sure that their soil health is as optimum as possible, so that nutrients are available, that the soil is conducive to biology, that biology can grow and sustain the crop. And once we've addressed the soil issues, we want to make sure that the crop is growing optimally, because that way the crop is able to create it or switch on its own resistance mechanisms against pest and disease. And then, the third aspect that we address in our New Way program is ensuring the water optimization. Because it's a scarce resource, we want to ensure that the soil can absorb that moisture rather than run off. We want to create that sponge effect in the soil that can hold the water and make it available for a longer period of time. And then we also want to make sure that the farmer is not irrigating his soil, he's actually irrigating to meet the crop's needs. And that's a technology that we're introducing through our business.
Well, that's the New Way from AECI Plant Health, addressing the transition, the changes and the challenges in agriculture. We thank Dr. Lawrence van Rensburg.
AECI Plant Health, unlocking nature's potential.